Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo. You know what that is?
Y-X is crime? You ever met those people that have a vanity license plate for their business?
That would be really douche.
I met one of these guys. He has a mostly license plate here.
Wait, this is real? This is actually your license?
Yeah,
This
it's
is
my car.
CJ's car.
I am just finding this out right now. They say that like YouTube is TV now.
That's like psychopath behavior. Watching YouTube on a TV. That's
Listen, I'm one of them, so
I watch
lock me up.
YouTube on
You
the
watch
TV.
YouTube?
I was there for a little outing at a small liberal arts school called Harvard Business School.
I saw you post the same photo as Kim Kardashian, which was kind of cool.
From Mostly Media, it's Mostly Growth. Go-to-market strategist Kyle Poyer and CFO CJ Gustafson share smart takes on growing revenue and running a company. Pricing, unit economics, AI, leadership, candid insights for CEOs, CFOs, and CROs, or anyone else aspiring to climb to the C-suite. This is Mostly Growth.
Hey, thanks for listening. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. As a CFO, you're expected to bring clarity to everything, including how your company manages ownership. The tools you use should make that easier, not harder. But when they come with hidden fees, data you can't always trust, and support you can't rely on, you end up with more frustration than clarity. That's where Pulley comes in. Pulley is a cap table management platform built for finance leaders who need accurate, decision-ready data from a system that works for your business, not against it. With Pulley, you get intuitive workflows, audit-ready reporting, and support you can count on, all backed by predictable pricing you can plan around. So you can stay compliant and make smarter decisions about your company's future. Manage everything from fundraise modeling to ASC 718 reporting to custom liquidity programs, all on one trusted platform. Hundreds of high-growth companies like Linear, Fathom, and Runway trust Pulley to help turn ownership into a strategic advantage. And joining them is now easier than ever. You can switch to Pulley in as little as 5 days. And for a limited time, they're offering 25% off your first year. To claim your exclusive offer, visit pulley.com/mostlymetrics. That is PULLEY.com/mostlymetrics. Please, guys, I really need this. Pulley.com/mostlymetrics. You just launched a new AI product. The new pricing page looks great. I'm talking crisp. But behind it, last-minute glued code, messy spreadsheets, and running ad hoc queries to figure out what to bill. Customers get invoices they can't understand. Engineers are chasing billing bugs. Finance can't close the books. Well, with Metronome, you hand it all off to the real-time billing infrastructure that just works. Reliable, flexible, and built to grow with you. They turn raw usage events into accurate invoices, give customers bills they actually understand, and keep every team in sync in real time. Whether you're launching usage-based pricing, managing enterprise contracts, or rolling out new AI services, Metronome does the heavy lifting so you can focus on your product, not your billing. That's why some of the fastest growing companies in the world like OpenAI and Anthropic run their billing on Metronome. Visit metronome.com to learn more. That's metronome.com. Welcome back to Mostly Beers. Oh, is this what?
You guys drunk already? Yeah.
I know, I haven't opened it.
Well, this episode is coming out the day after Thanksgiving, so we thought we'd do a special Mostly Drinks episode of Mostly Growth. What do you've got there, gentlemen?
I've got the tried and true.
A latte.
The
Miller
champagne
latte.
of beers.
Ben, pumpkin spice king, what you got?
Truly mimosa?
Truly mimosa.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly mimosa.
I've got an Amagang, let's see, double ale. It's 8.2% alcohol,
Shit.
Belgian style double. So I will be
Spicy.
feeling it after I drink this bad boy. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Great. I truly just finished my copy. This is perfect.
On today's episode, we wanted to do only the fun stuff. We normally do a mix of serious topics and then business blunders, pricing in the real world, etc., etc. Today, we're just going to hang out. What's new with you, CJ?
I went to a concert this weekend.
A concert? I thought you were like a dad with kids, pregnant wife. How are you going to concerts?
I got a baby due any day now. I got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. They went to Disney on Ice, and I drove up to Boston to go see All Time Low
my probably favorite band in high school with my buddies.
Feel like you must be on chore duty for like the next month. Was it worth it?
It was worth it. And this was for people who don't know, this is like a power punk band. They're like they're definitely not metal. The people that opened up for them were kind of metal, 4 Year Strong. And then the other band was Mayday Parade, if you've ever heard of them.
You know, I'm not seeing any dripping eyeliner from your night out or anything like that, CJ. No,
I wore my favorite fedora. It was great. So all three of these bands, they got on stage and they each said something along the lines of, we've been together for 20 years or 22 years or 23 years. And it was weird to think of when I was in high school and they were just coming up. If I go back to that time, just thinking, what if I knew what I wanted to do for the rest of my life at that stage and was still doing that job? And like, you forget that life goes on and those bands are still out there touring the roads. And you flash forward, you're like, holy shit, where did time go? And I was looking around the crowd and it was the first time that I felt like I was part of an aging audience. Have you ever been to a concert and looked around and been like, oh, we're all kind of washed up now?
That is a rough one. I have not been to a concert like that. I did the opposite where a couple of years ago, I went to a Charlie XCX concert and it wasn't like, you know, everyone's aging with me. It's like, no, her fans are currently in college and I am twice their age.
We went to my favorite restaurant in the world before, Yard House, where they also serve Miller Lite. But there was this couple
Wait,
there.
You had a Miller Lite at Yard House? Aren't they known for like interesting beers? And you picked a Miller Lite?
I had a couple.
A simple man.
A simple man with simple pleasures.
Was this a House of Blues in Boston?
It was at the new MGM on the same street, which is really cool. It was a 5,000 venue place, which, by the way, we had to do a different episode or maybe a YouTube series, Ben, on the economics of concerts, because I just couldn't make the math work of how this was profitable for anybody based on 5,000 tickets sold at an average $40 a pop and all the overhead that goes into that. But we were at Yard House and there was this mom and dad who they had like sleeves of tattoos. They both had gauges, but they brought their two kids, and it was so cute because it was like they were definitely fans of this band growing up, and they were bringing like their 4-year-old and 6-year-old, call it, and they were like coloring at Yard House beforehand. The parents are having a drink. We saw them. They were 2 rows over from us, and their kids fell asleep even before the opening act. They were like bringing their kids to the first concert, and they had the huge earmuffs on. So they couldn't hear it. But I was like, damn, this is full circle. All of us here at this concert are like parents now.
The gauges thing is a tough thing to do as a dad because in high school or something, those are cool, but your ears don't grow back. So what are you going to do when you're 50?
All right. Got some bevies with the boys, and it's time for some business blunders.
I've got one, and you might want to pull this up on video here, Ben.
Oh,
but,
no. I don't know.
Have you ever met those people that have a vanity license plate for their business?
That would be really douche.
I met one of these guys. He has a mostly license plate here. CJ visited me in Boston. That was the first thing I spotted was a photo of his car with the mostly license plate. How much you pay for this, CJ? Is this worth it from a CAC payback standpoint?
I expensed it on my Brex card, if anybody's wondering.
Wait, this is real? This is actually your license?
Yeah, this is CJ's car.
I am just finding this out right now.
Does this surprise you about CJ?
Not even a little bit.
I said, what was the douchiest thing I could do? And I went and did that thing.
I mean, the thing that I appreciate about this with you is that like there's a number of impressions people are getting to a license plate, and you're like, well, there's probably a cost that I'm paying per year for the license plate, number of people viewing it. Like you probably did the math from a finance standpoint. It's not just the ego thing, but I would say you probably should have picked a name that was like going to show up on Google if someone Googled it later.
Or like a .com.
Like if someone just Googles mostly, they're just probably confused.
Mostly confused. I'm mysterious.
My old boss in consulting, we were in a pricing consulting firm, and his license plate said pricing, and he lived in San Francisco. And so he'd drive around in tech founders. He'd be like, you know pricing? we want to hire you. He actually sourced like several client engagements from his license plate. So I have seen this pay off.
The best one that I've seen was, you're not going to get this if you're not in accounting, but it's a license plate on a Scion. And it says IFRS, which is the international like accounting standard. That's not GAAP if you're overseas, but it's like one of those like, if you know, then you know type things.
Did you see that there was this guy in like 2016 who wanted to get a vanity license plate that was like the error that would happen if you like entered like the license plate into, I guess, the cops when they like, you know, put your license plate in or something like that, thinking that it would be like, oh, well, now whenever they put my license plate into the system, it'll just, you know, put back something null. But it backfired. And apparently every time that someone would get like their license plate registered, but it gave the null back, the tickets would go to him. The fines would go to this guy.
Kyle, you're not... If you could get a license plate, what would it be? I almost got metrics. I'm just hoping nobody in the state of Connecticut takes that before I get there.
Well, I can't do unhinged. That's too long. And if I remove the vowels from unhinged, that's just really weird. Growth would be like a classic one. Don't love that, but like growth would come up.
Growth
but then
hacks.
honestly, so my husband has a name that with HOV as the first three letters. And so I've thought about getting Hove Lane, like HOV lane. It's like the carpool lane in other places, but in New England we call it the HOV lane or the Hove Lane. And so that's probably what I would get.
You know what that is?
Y-axis crime?
All right, Kyle. There are two things I need you to pick out that are wrong with this chart here. It's from the founder of Cluey, the Lie on Everything app.
So two things pick out that are wrong. So the chart seems to be going up and to the right, like it's accelerating. No idea if this is like cumulative or like net new. There was an indication on this chart that it's a record, but there seems to be like a bunch of flat lines. And so that confuses me. And then the final thing is like, there's just no labeling. I have no idea what I'm looking at with this chart.
First, there is no y-axis. There's a trick question. So you don't know if there's millions, if this is just like $10. And the second thing, if you zoom in, this is just quarter to date. So there's no comparison. It starts from zero. They start of every quarter.
You know, my ARR chart looks really great when I look at it from that lens.
Well, it also, it harkens back to our conversation with Dave Kellogg earlier this week when we were talking about companies bragging that it was a record month. It was a record quarter. It's like, dude, that's table stakes. If you took on funding here, you should be growing fast enough that everything's a record.
Yeah, I don't have much to say other than please make it stop. These go viral though. That's the thing. Like the problem is that founders post these and are like, look at my business is so successful. Everyone gives it a heart or a like or thumbs up, whatever. And is like, congrats, you're amazing. You're the most brilliant founder ever. I love you. And if the y-axis crimes are going to stop, like the behavior of engaging with these posts has to stop.
Oh, totally. Everyone's pumping this guy up because he posted a chart that fundamentally can't go down and had to start at zero at the start of the period. So you can just do things, Kyle. You can just put charts out there and people will say, nice chart.
I think you've got to post one of these for most of the media.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I like to joke that we're like the #3 business management podcast in Costa Rica. It's like, thank you to all 2.5 listeners. We are worldwide.
No, but seriously, thank you 2.5 listeners in Costa Rica. We'll
we
take
love you though.
Any listeners we can get.
We'll send you a hat or a vanity license plate.
All right, I had one more business blunder I wanted to talk about, and it is a preemptive business blunder. Because it hasn't happened yet, but it's about to happen.
You can see the future?
I can see the future because the future repeats itself a lot. Do you know the Spotify Wrapped campaign? Like, are you on Spotify?
Oh, yeah. That's like I love it when they send me that.
Who are your top artists usually?
Young Jeezy, Future, All Time Low.
You and I listen to really different music.
It's not Charlie XCX, I'll tell you that.
So it worked for Spotify. Great campaign. Everyone loves sharing it. Nobody cares about a SaaS app that shares a Spotify Wrapped campaign. Like a Notion Spotify Wrapped or Notion Wrapped. these are the most viewed documents you wrote last year. Like every SaaS company is about to think this worked for Spotify, it's going to work for me. It worked for Spotify, it will not work for you. Nobody cares about the engagement in your app. You are not Spotify. Please don't do this. It will actually cost engineering resources, marketing resources. Nobody's going to share it. Like, just please don't do it.
Someone like 2 years ago had a preemptive plea and they did an infographic and it was a decision matrix to see if you should do a Spotify Wrapped. And the first question was, are you Spotify? Yes. Yes. No, don't do it.
It is spot on.
Do you think that they get a lot of like new users out of this, Kyle? I'd imagine that it has to work, right?
To me, it's probably a retention play, right? So you want all of your engagement in Spotify so you can see what your Wrapped is at the end of the year. So I think it like keeps people hooked for that, partly for that reason. In the early days of Spotify, when the brand wasn't as well known, you got all these people sharing, hey, here's what I listened to last year. And it's got the icon of Spotify on it. Like it was kind of a status thing. Kind of like the scent from my iPhone was the status thing in the early days. I don't know if it still has that role.
The only friction in me and my brother-in-law Jake's relationship is I use Spotify and he uses Apple Music, and we like the same type of music and we're constantly sending links, but we're always sending links to like
Then
the
neither of
player
you
the
can
other
listen to.
Yeah. So then you have to go and type it in. It's so frustrating.
Oh man. Well, thankfully I don't like your music, so that won't be a problem for us. For the record, I am an Apple Music person. They had a 1-year free trial and I was like, this is just perfect.
What do you listen to our podcast on?
I listen to our podcast on YouTube.
Ben, are you happy with that?
Yeah, no, that's we need to juice them numbers.
Ben, is that where you think the puck is going when it comes to podcasts? YouTube?
Yeah, it's interesting. They say that like YouTube is TV now. Like a lot of people are watching it on their TVs, like with the TV app.
That's like psychopath behavior. Watching YouTube on a TV.
Listen, I'm one of them. So
I watch
me up.
YouTube on
You
the
watch
TV,
YouTube? I guess for
Oh,
kid
yeah.
shows, sure, kid shows fine. As an adult, you
I'm
watch
watching
adult
Bluey
stuff.
on the YouTube channel. Yeah, on the TV.
I just think it's weird when someone says, "Oh yeah, I watched your podcast." And I'm like, "Oh, wait, they said watch, not listen." And I'm like, "You watched it like in your living room? Watched it?" Because that kind of freaks me out. I feel kind of self-conscious now.
For listeners, this is also on video. But do your kids watch that show with the guy who's like wearing suspenders and like glasses? Blippi, that's his name.
Blippi, yeah.
My niece and nephew were obsessed with Blippi. So obsessed.
Yeah, Blippi's a staple in this household. I don't know how I feel about it.
Dude must be
Freaked
becoming
out a
like a
bit, but-
billionaire with his like Blippi empire. But I
Yeah.
wonder when you age out of that, like being a YouTube creator for kids, it's maybe fine when you're in your 20s, but like if you're in your 40s, you're just kind of a creepy old dude.
How
Worked
much?
for Mr. Rogers?
I was thinking of Pee Wee Herman. It's a good question. How much would you have to get paid to feel okay being a child star in overalls with like a top hat on?
He doesn't have a top hat on. It's a, I don't know what kind of hat that is, but it's like a,
Oh, like the cabbie hat, right? Like
Yeah. It's like the hat I wore to the All Time Low concert this weekend.
What do we have next? Just more fun, I guess, right? One
Ooh.
potentially reliable thing for my sleepy little guys.
so have you guys watched The Traitors?
Oh, I'm so in, yeah.
No, what? Describe this to me. Give me the 30-second overview.
All right. Well, before I do, Ben, have you seen the most recent season? They released a UK celebrity season this last week.
No, I watched U.S. Traitors. I have seen all the U.S. 2 seasons there've been.
So it started in the UK, I believe, but the UK was real people. The US was like celebrities. They were like reality stars. It's kind of like Secret Hitler, if anyone's played that game, or Mafia.
Werewolves.
But basically, there's like roughly 20 people. 3 or so somewhat randomly get selected as traitors. And the traitors murder someone each night. And then everyone has to try to guess who the traitors are. There's a banishment like discussion, and you try to find someone and banish them. If you banish a traitor, great, like things are working awesome. If you banish a faithful, you just lost someone, and then the traitors are going to murder someone that night. So it's a fascinating show. Like there's a lot of game theory and everything that goes on, but it's also just a really entertaining show. And the potentially reliable thing I read last night was I was going back to an Economist article about the economics of the traders and like how to win. But Ben, curious, like since you watch this, I feel like in the US that traders always lose. Like deck is stacked against them. I have not seen a trader win yet. Have you seen traders win at all?
No, season 1, spoilers for anyone who is watching. I believe season 1, a trader won, and it was very controversial.
You can get down to like a couple people. If one of the final people is a trader, the trader just wins it all.
Yeah.
If all of the final people are faithful win it, right? And so it can get tough where like if you have 3 people, they have to actually decide, do they vote someone out or do they just say, hey, we're all faithful? And you're constantly like second guessing your friends and everything. But The Economist was looking into game theory data, and one of the findings was the traders have the deck stacked against them. It is actually very hard to win as a trader. But then they found the best way to win was essentially, they called it like rational herding. You don't want to stick your neck out and be the one driving the conversation, driving decisions. You want to figure out where the consensus is and loudly agree with what everyone else is saying. And so that way you kind of always seem in the majority, and you're not too quiet, you're not too loud, but you're never the one that is actually the like controversial one or the kind of isolated opinion. You can just kind of blend in with the pack.
Damn.
I'm losing you, CJ. You got to watch this.
This one half of a Miller Lite put me in a mental pretzel with this.
For anyone who has not seen the UK celebrity season, Alan Carr is an absolute gem and he is worth watching.
I think we should rename this segment instead of call it potentially paywalled article shared by Kyle.
It's not a paywall if you pay for it.
Coming from the guy who runs.
What do you tell your readers? You paywall like half the stuff in your newsletter.
No, well, but it's really good. All right, what's the next one? Kyle, I think you have some more game theory for me.
I want to present you with a situation, and I'm curious to get your perspective. All right, so there are 3 doors. Apparently, this is a big like game show thing. Behind one of the doors is like the thing that you're looking for, right? That might be behind door number 1, 2, or 3. You don't know which door it is.
It's a good prize.
Do you pick door 1, 2, or 3?
I'll take 3.
Now, if I tell you that behind door number 2 is not the prize, does that change your decision at all?
I feel like I have more information than I had before. Oh, man.
And this is, guys, CJ hasn't even finished his beer yet, so this is him after not even 1 year.
Regis, final answer. 3.
3, you're going to stick with it.
Yeah.
Apparently, so this is called the Monty Hall problem. I went into a bit of a rabbit hole after hearing this on a podcast. Apparently, you're supposed to change your answer, right? Not keep it the same, because your initial choice, you had a 1 in 3 chance of getting it right. But apparently, your final choice, like if you know door number 2 is not correct, door number 1, I guess, has a 2 in 3 chance of being right. Because initially there was 1/3 chance it was door number 3 and a 2/3 chance it was door number 1 or 2. And now you know it's not door number 2. And so you're supposed to move to door number 1. Now, I don't actually, this math feels really complicated to me.
Not know it's 3 though.
It is throwing my brain in a pretzel, because this is what Wikipedia tells me is the math behind it, but it doesn't make much sense to me, because it feels like whoever the announcer is just trying to mess with me, and it's just telling me it's not one of the other things I didn't choose. Apparently the math is on your side.
What if it's a Slumdog Millionaire scenario where you're writing the wrong answer on the mirror for me because you want to mess me up?
I thought I was going to tell you something and you were going to explain the math behind this to me.
In most gambling scenarios, they are distinct probabilities each time you step up to do something, like a roulette wheel, right? They're not related. Similar to what are the chances of getting hit by lightning? It technically is less probable that you'll get hit twice, but they're still distinct events. With this, we're assuming that the prize hasn't moved, so it's still the same outcome you're trying to judge, so it doesn't create a different probability here. If I say it's 3, I'm technically re-choosing 3, so I still should have a 50% chance.
We'll have to have a listener or a watcher explain to us how this all works, but we'll link to the Wikipedia article for folks to explore.
In this scenario, you'd be stupid, but isn't 2 still factored into the decision because you could pick 2, even though you're being told it's not 2? Like, it's technically a decision you can make.
Ben's like, but what if I pick the one that we know is not the one?
No, I'm saying because it's you're able to make the decision, and it's not like Regis is telling you can't select the second one. He's just saying it's not the second one.
This is like that Grant Cardone meme I sent you, Ben. Like, not interested is a form of interested.
I'm just grateful that your kid let us use their art in this episode.
Is this the 2-year-old or the 4-year-old?
I drew this.
Next up, we've got pricing in the real world.
Well, I've got one. So I've been working on a perks program for premium subscribers. Basically, the idea is I know a bunch of people that have software companies, and some of them advertise with me, some of them don't. I can get a bunch of them to offer discounts that are special to my readers, and then offer that as a reason why someone should pay or keep their paid subscription. So working on these subscriber perks. And I started realizing this business model is becoming almost identical to a business that my uncle started a couple decades ago. So it's called Community Discount Card. It is the fundraiser that makes dollars and cents, pun intended, I believe. And so his business is like kind of a brilliant one. The idea is he goes to like a local community and he finds the like mom and pops or the franchisees, and he gets them to give offers. So like if you're a Papa John's, you might say like free breadsticks with an order of a large pizza. And so he'll compile all of these offers onto a card, the community discount card, and then he sells this card. He doesn't sell it to consumers. He sells it to local like sports groups. So like your local kids soccer team or baseball team or whatever. And then they go door to door to their neighborhood, and the kids sports teams get like half whatever they make. So they sell it for $15 or $20. The kids get $7.50 out of the 15, and then my uncle gets the other $7.50.
Kyle, it kind of reminds me of the 50-50 raffles they have at Celtics or Bruins games where half goes to the charity and half goes to the winner.
Yeah, my uncle is just a middleman. So like half goes to the middleman, and the businesses that are sponsoring the promotions like get nothing. I guess they get more customers, or it's like they're helping out a charity. He just takes a facilitation fee of a 50% rake, which is not too shabby.
That's an amazing take rate, Kyle.
There's like no costs, right? Like these are businesses that like just renew every year. They're cool with it. It helps the local kids sports teams. And I guess for like, if you're a local soccer team, I remember I used to go door to door for soccer, and we'd have to sell candy bars for like $1 each. And I'd have to sell like 50 or 100 candy bars. And that was kind of hard to do. And so if you're thinking about this, like you sell one discount card, that's worth like 7 candy bars. That's not like, that's an easier fundraiser for the kids.
They look like the menus that you have on the table in a diner where it has like a dry cleaning coupon next to, you know what I'm talking about?
I do. It's kind of like a Cheesecake Factory menu, but like from the 1950s. Someone's got to help my uncle with some design skills.
But let's talk about your newsletter. So you're going to bundle in some perks with it. But give me an example. Like you get, I don't know, a deal on granola or something.
I think CJ was referring to the tech product granola. There is also.
Yeah.
I would love to offer I would love to offer free granola to my readers, like regular granola, mostly purely Elizabeth. So the idea is like, hey, you get 3 months free of X, or 50% off for your first year of Y, or like $10,000 off an annual subscription of Z. I've been running a survey, the State of B2B go-to-market report, and I've been asking about people's favorite go-to-market tools, both like the favorite ones that they use right now and the favorite ones they want to try. So I'm trying to go down that list and hand pick companies that I know my readers really want to use, or they use and they love, and trying to get discounts off those.
You know what you should think about doing is you should make it a way to get more people past the paywall gate, but also give away a big enough discount. Say it's 30%, you get 15%, the company gets 15%. You can double up.
Explain that to me.
There are a lot of marketplace businesses that offer discounts on stuff. So I'll give you an example. My friend has a company where he's the middleman. If you have an Airbnb and want to furnish it, you can buy furniture through his company. And so he'll go out to like a Bowling branch or something, or like a Wayfair, and he'll negotiate a rate 20% off by going through. So it gets the hook of the person, like, yeah, I want a discount for that. But what's really happening behind the scenes is the company who's providing whatever good it is, sheets or a bed or a couch, they're realizing 10% off. That's basically their CAC, right? And then the other 10%.
Kind of like an affiliate fee.
It's exactly like that. It's an affiliate thing at scale, and then he makes his margin on the 10%. So they end up splitting the discount.
That probably would be more lucrative if I'm being honest, but I don't want to get like in the business of recommending products and like having financial incentives tied to community members like buying a product. I'd really want to stay vendor neutral and just like have this as an offering that, hey, if you want to choose a product, great. And by being a newsletter subscriber, like you get all of these perks for being a subscriber, but like I'm not trying to be on the hook to say you should use product A versus B, C, D, E, or F.
I would love to do something like this. The only issue
what
is...
What stopped you so far?
Most of the tools, I love all my sponsors, they're ERPs. They're things that, start at $20,000 or more for the most part. So it's a very considered purchase that you can't self-serve. That's the rub.
People are already negotiating directly with the sales team, so they wouldn't necessarily even believe you. Maybe if you're like, you get $1,000 off if you mention CJ, they're like, yeah, I got $10,000 off because I have a pulse.
Because I'm a CFO who can negotiate.
I saw Lenny. What Lenny does is he makes these just for new paid subscribers. So you have to be like a new annual subscriber to get these perks. Like, I don't think I'll get the same perks that Lenny has, but I'm going to make them available to anyone that's a paid subscriber just because, like, A, I don't have nearly as many as Lenny does. And then B, like, it just feels more fair that way. Like, I don't want to make people worse off because they supported the newsletter earlier.
He did something really smart too. He made it gated by the paywall, but he also increased his prices for the first time ever when he did it. So it went from 15 a month to 20 a month, or 150 or to 200 a year. But then on the other end of it, you get like a crazy amount of, free products for a year. It's worth it.
So basically there's 3 doors and 2 of the doors have a discount.
Ben's still trying to pick door number 2.
I don't want a discount. I want the full value.
All right. So first one for you here. My friend Tim, who I went to the concert with on Saturday, I've known this guy for over 20 years. He's like, and what are the gluten-free options? I'm like, what? Dude, like, I see you just pound IPAs and you're asking for the gluten-free option here. So we start giving him shit. We're like, you're just taking on the ailments of your wife here, like just absorbing them because she's gluten-free. Now you're gluten-free, blah, blah, blah. We go down this rabbit hole, so we make fun of him for a while. Sorry, Tim. But then he starts to tell me, being gluten-free is kind of cool, actually. It's like we're part of this cool elite club. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, Boston started doing this thing for a lot of the restaurants. Tuesday is typically the slowest night. They do gluten-free nights at restaurants. So there are certain restaurants in the city that will run promotional deals, and all they sell that night is gluten-free. And he was joking with me that you'll go to one of these at like Brico or something in North End on gluten-free night, and you're looking at the next table like, I see you over there.
This is a party I do not feel any need to go to. I eat like almost exclusively gluten, so this is not for me. If there was a restaurant I go to the most in Boston, it's a place called Clear Flower Bakery. Gluten is what makes the carbs tasty.
Do you think this is a good pricing and packaging strategy, though, Kyle?
No, because I hate it.
Not for you.
Cannot be rational about this. I just can't be rational about selling a worse product that probably is more complicated to make.
It actually is probably lower margin. Good point.
What is how big is the audience for this? And is the gluten-free audience a Tuesday night audience?
If you do gluten-free and you do CrossFit, what do you tell people about first?
Wait, 1/3 of people are trying to avoid gluten. These are the reasons why we have protein chips, why we can't just eat chips and like just have regular food. It's the same people that like pretend to be gluten-free and don't actually have celiac.
This is a much bigger market than I thought.
There was a section there. Celiac disease infects 1 in 141 people in the U.S.
But if you put it in bips, what's that, like 64 bits?
No, we're talking. So like for a less than 1% audience that's actually needs to be gluten-free, to devote an entire night for that audience, like, feels off to me.
All right, so you didn't like that idea. This is one of the funniest tweets I've seen in a while. Tech sales guy says, $1 trillion idea. Shower thought. Why is no one doing Outbound for pizza? Hey, this is Gigi from Gigi's Pizza calling. You ordered last week. We have a pepperoni pizza ready and could be delivered in 10 minutes. You hungry?
This is where an AI outbound calling agent would actually probably be a good use case. Doesn't Domino's do something like this? Don't they have like an emergency pizza button in their app?
Oh, Domino's definitely has the emergency pizza. I know they also have the thing where it's like they'll pay you to pick it up, you know, where they'll like tip you to pick it up. Our new producer, Steve, got this message from Papa Gino's out in Boston. And he got a text from Papa Gino's saying, "Are you free tonight? Come over, enjoy 30% off all pizzas. Ends in 48 hours. And according to Steve, he fell for it a couple times.
Papa Gino's and chill.
We're doing this podcast trying to...
I mean, I don't
trying to
hate
make it
this
big.
idea.
We could just be doing that. We could just be... There's an arbitrage situation here.
It's also called an email to your customers, but it sounds better if you call it outbound.
I wonder if this works, though, if you're trying to like launch a new location in a new city. Look, I'm loyal. I got Prime Pizza down the street. I got Slice House. But if like a new pizza place opens up the street and they want to get my business, like, you got to come find me. You know what I mean?
I think it's more just having a human on the line. I know you said to use AI. Somebody saying, I have a hot, delicious pepperoni pizza right now. I would venture that 25% of people, when you hear that, you're like, you know what? I could do that.
I think what's great with like a Domino's, they have your address on file. Like, you could literally order in like one click. And so I think this would work especially well for existing customers and getting them to have a repeat order. I'm much more okay with like a Outbound Pizza Tuesdays. I think we should normalize Outbound Pizza Tuesdays before we normalize Gluten-Free Tuesdays. I'm probably going to get some shit for this. I have a friend with celiac too, and she's going to probably listen to this and I'm going to hear all about it.
We'll buy her a pizza.
I have one more though. I have been selling some like consulting or advising services, right? Writing the newsletter and just media stuff. And then I also do consulting and advising. But one of the things I've learned in consulting and advising is that if you pitch your price as like the price per hour, it's going to cost you $10,000 for 10 hours of my time. People are immediately going to anchor on the price per hour. And it sounds really expensive. Like, it sounds like you're totally ripping someone off. If you go, hey, this is going to be $10,000 and it's for this service. And this service gives you A, B, C, and D. And you don't talk about how many hours it takes you. You're like, oh, that sounds like a totally reasonable price. One example of this that I love is if you go to Fletch PMM's website, this is Anthony Pieri and Rob's
They're great.
business. And they actually put the pricing for their services on their website, which most folks don't. And their whole idea is like, we're going to do a homepage positioning sprint. It's a 2-week sprint. Probably not that many hours if you like estimate, but like 2 weeks of work. And for a growth stage company, it's $20K. For a mature company, it's $30K. For an early stage company, it's $10K. This feels like to get your homepage positioning down pat, that feels like a reasonable price. If they were to tell you we're going to do 20 hours of work and it's going to cost you $20K, you'd be like, who do you think you are? But this model feels like totally fair and value-based. And so my pricing in the real world for people is don't price per hour. I know your costs are based on an hour and you know your amount of work is hourly based, but price based on the service, please.
That's such sage advice, Kyle, because people immediately go to how it impacts their P&L and they pitch it that way. Like, this is how much effort I have to put in terms of hours. But companies are way more apt to pick up what you're putting down if you pitch it on a fixed project base.
So much more. And they don't know how much time it takes you. Also, the more times you do it, the fewer hours it should take you, as you've got like templates and just a ton of experience, or if you use AI to deliver the service. So like, why should you be charging less just because you got better at doing the thing?
Wow. That's a great one.
Do you do consulting work, CJ?
I don't. I told myself really early on I wanted to try to avoid at all costs trading time for money because it was a linear relationship. I always go back to this Scott Galloway podcast where he said, doing any sort of consulting work is an amazing way to get rich, but a really shitty way to get wealthy because you're always trading it in a linear relationship. And so no knock on people doing it, but I've always just wanted to try to separate my time from the money I'm making. I know you work harder, blah, 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 you give yourself a raise and stuff, but I didn't want it to be directly correlated. And I did consulting early on, much like you did. And I was always just kind of turned off by that model. Have you heard the Picasso story of him drawing in a cafe before, Kyle?
I have not.
All right, so he's in this coffee shop and he's just doodling, blah, blah, blah. And this girl comes up to him and she's like, oh, I'm such a big fan. Can you draw on this piece of paper for me? In under a minute, he draws this really cool sketch. Like, it's beautiful. Can't believe he did it. She goes to pick it up and he goes, that'll be $50,000. She's like, $50,000? It took you under a minute. He's like, it took me under a minute to do it, but it took me 50 years in order to be able to do it in under a minute.
Wait, is that a true story or is that just like a made up thing to
I think
prove your
it's
point?
true. I've heard it from multiple people. I'm not saying like I'm an artist by any means or anything like that, but if people charge me based on how long it takes me to write a newsletter, I think I get better over time, right? Like, I wouldn't want to charge hourly for that. And, you know, the reach of it should go up too. But if there's a network effect to it, I totally understand. Like, it probably helps you stay fresh.
The time for money thing, it's a tough business long term, and you're constantly on the lookout for the next client. Like, it's a difficult business in the long run. For me personally, I don't think I can keep being a newsletter writer that's relevant for the next 10 years without working hands-on with real life companies going through challenges. It just feels like I would be so theoretical, or I'd be giving that advice of like, this worked for 10 years ago back in my day, and I'd rather stay a little bit more
perpetual
relevant.
licenses.
You should charge a maintenance fee. What did you try this week, CJ?
I went out to lunch with Boston's son, Kyle Poyer, and he took me to the most delicious and yuppiest sandwich shop I've ever been to. It's situated inside of like an organic grocery store.
It's called City Feed for folks in the know. But why were you in Boston again, CJ?
I was there for a little outing at a small liberal arts school called Harvard Business School.
I saw you post the same photo as Kim Kardashian, which was kind of cool.
My wife encouraged me to do that. So a couple of years ago, Kim Kardashian spoke at HBS, and she took this photo in front of the sign, and people went bonkers over it. And so I told Caitlin, I'm like, no matter what, I am going to find this sign and take a picture. So it was pretty cool. It was a full circle moment. They did a case study on me. I joked when I was speaking to the students. It's funny because I couldn't get into this school, but now I got 70. You doing homework on me? So joke's on you. Haha. But the professor after, I was like, can you take me to the sign where Kim Kardashian took a photo? And she's like,
it's like a landmark in Boston now.
She's like, what? So she was kind enough to take a photo of me there.
Well, I'm glad, you went to HBS and your highlight was the sandwich. So JP's doing something right.
What did you try?
So something I tried this week. People are going to be listening to this right after Thanksgiving. They've just cooked a big meal or ate a big meal. We had a lot of meat. I'm actually going to be cooking a roast chicken this year and not turkey, which I know is...
I'm supportive. I'm totally supportive of that. Turkey is so overrated.
Yeah, and there's this recipe for roast chicken in the New York Times cooking app called, it's like a buttermilk brined roast chicken from Samin Nasrat. That is so good. I make 2 of them. My dog goes crazy over it. But anyway, in the spirit of Thanksgiving and food, in the last couple weeks, I've been making this porcini ragu that was also featured in the New York Times. And the porcini ragu, you take like the dried porcini mushrooms and you soak them in water, and then you use that like mushroom broth as the broth. It is like so delicious, so amazing. It's vegetarian. Highly recommend making it, especially if you want something that is like not meat heavy after Thanksgiving.
What about gluten? Is that gluten?
It has a lot of gluten in it. It's, I can't help people there.
Well, gents, it's been a pleasure. Cheers.
Mostly Growth is a Mostly Media production. Executive produced by Ben Hillman. That's me. Nothing said on this podcast is intended to be business or investment advice. It's the sole opinion of CJ, Kyle, and Ben. Just some guys who love talking growth. Mostly. If you like this podcast, hit subscribe. Give us 5 stars or hit like. The algorithm overlords thank you. Drink water, call your mom, and have a great day.